We're going to talk about number 2 here. Number 1 will be uploaded later. Um, First thing you want to do is make sure your calculator is in degrees. So when you get your calculator, if you do second plus 712, that just ensures that whoever had the calculator before you, if they tried anything to mess up, it's not messed up. You go to mode, you go down here, and you switch it over to degrees. You want to make sure you do that here. Then from there, it says that they want V plus um, V plus W. They want you to simply find the magnitude and direction for the sum. So V plus W, I simply add the i's together and add the j's together, and I end up with 3i minus 9j for letter A there. Once I get 3i minus 9j, I need to find the magnitude. Okay, I want to find the magnitude. The magnitude is simply the square root of the number in front of I squared plus the number in front of j squared. So magnitude in this case is going to be the square root of 3 squared plus negative 9 squared. I could plug that in my calculator here. So plug it in my calculator like so. I do get 9.487 as my answer, 9.487. I notice that this guy is in quadrant 4 because I is positive and J is negative. So my graph would look like this. And what we're looking for is we're looking for this angle for the direction. In order to get that, the math that we have the option of doing will help us find this angle here. So it's going to be the angle. It's going to be inverse tangent of j divided by I. So in this case, it's going to be, we're going to have 9 divided by 3. Does not matter if I use the negative sign or not. It's irrelevant in this case. I'm simply going to plug that in my calculator. Inverse tangent of j divided by I. And notice you get 71.565. Now, because that is this angle, and I want the other angle, we're going to have to subtract that value from 360 because it's in the fourth quadrant. So if I do 360 minus that angle, I end up with 288.435. And so that's the angle, that's the direction. So your magnitude is 9.487 and your direction is 288.435. So for letter A, B, C, and D, that's all you're doing there to find that. Based on the quadrant, then that's going to impact your direction. I'll go ahead and post the answers for those. You have the answers separate, but I'll post them also. Here are the answers for number 2 there, also with a little explanation as far as what quadrant it's in, because it's in that quadrant, why it's in that quadrant, and then showing you how to find the angle there. For number 3, I'm going to use the formula given right there above, the magnitude of V times cosine of the angle. So the magnitude of V times cosine of the angle I plus the magnitude of V times sine of the angle J. I'm going to create 2 of those. I choose to use R and S. You could use A and B if you desire to do that. R will represent the airplane and S will represent the tailwind. So R is equal to, the magnitude is 425, also known as the speed. So 425 cosine 52I plus 425 sine 52J. I'm going to do the same thing for the other guy. So here's the R and S written out there. Then all I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to add the components together. So I'm going to add the I components together and I'm going to add the J components together in my calculator. So it's 425 cosine 52 plus 30 cosine 15, and I get 290.6 34i. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the other guy there. You could simply arrow up and then just go over and simply change the signs, the cosines to sines. You want to be careful just to make sure you do it on both. This is a shortcut. You don't have to do it this way. You can type it in if you desire to do that. As you can see, you got to make sure that you do it correctly. And the other, so it should be plus 342.669J. So for number 3, that's all they ask you to do. You have 3 questions. They simply ask you to find the sum of the components. I'll show you the answers to those 3. So here's the answer to 3A. You saw that, or one moment. And I apologize for some reason on the answer key. I got a different number for letter J. The answer for the J value, coefficient for number 3A is 342.669. I'll correct that on the answer key. Here's the answer to the work for letter B. And the answer, remember, you can hit pause at any time to look at these. You also have the answer key as well. And then here's letter C for number 3. So those are the answers for number 3. Number 4, in a concert hall seating, section B has 5 seats in the first 2 rows and 2 additional seats in each successive row. Section has 10 rows. So my equation is going to be, if this is arithmetic, it's an arithmetic sequence. My equation is going to be a sub n is equal to 5 plus 2 times n minus 1. Remember, 2 stands for 2 is a common difference, 5 is the first term. Letter A says how many seats are in the second row. I'm simply going to plug in 2 for n, and then I'm going to figure out my answer. And you end up with that being 7. Letter B, how many seats are in the last row? There are 10 rows in all, so if I find a sub 10, simply in my equation I'm going to plug in 10 for n, and then I'm going to see what I end up with here by doing algebra. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 5 plus 18 is 23. Then letter C says how many seats are in the entire section. So how many seats are in the entire section? They're asking me for the sum. So I'm going to find the sum of the 10th terms. N is 10. So the summation formula, the summation formula is S sub n equals n divided by 2 times a sub 1 plus a sub n. So in our case, it's going to be S sub 10 is equal to 10 divided by 2 times the first term plus the 10th term. So we have 10 divided by 2 times 5 plus the 10th term, which we found earlier, which is the 23. Then I simply do a little math. 5 times 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 plus 23 is 28. 5 times 28 is 140. Letter J said that's your answer. That's the sum of the 10, the number of seats in the 10 rows. Letter D says section J is set up similar to section B, but has more rows. If there are 285 seats in section B, how many rows are there? This one you do not have to worry about doing. So once you're mindful, you don't have to worry about doing that guy there. Number 5, you're finding the area of a triangle. You're going to find the area of a triangle. This is the formula we use if I don't know the height of the triangle. So it works on all triangles. If it's a triangle, all you're doing is you're simply looking for the sides, 2 sides that make an angle. So if the angle's here on top, I'm looking for these 2 sides. If the angle was an angle over here, I'm looking for these 2 sides. If the angle is on this side, I'm looking for these 2 sides. You're simply looking for the 2 sides that make up the angle. The easy way to do it is the side opposite the angle is not included. So for letter B here, I would not include this side. This side I would not include because it's opposite the angle. So for letter B, it's going to simply be 1/2 times 6 times 9 sine of 95. Now you simply plug that in your calculator. 1/2 is 0.5 times 6 times 9 sine 95. Calculator must be in degrees, so check that real quick. I still am in degrees. We're good. And I simply hit enter, and that's my answer, 26.897. Notice I omitted letter A and letter D from this, so you don't have to do those. The answer to letter C, is, wanted to give you that 8.030. So the setup is still the same there. Choose angles that make up the side. So you look there at the bottom there. I gave you that information there. For an arithmetic sequence, we're talking, number 6 is talking about sequences. We have an arithmetic sequence, which is right minus left. If I do 54 divided by 81, 36 divided by 54, 24 divided by 30, I apologize. 54 minus 81, 36 minus 54, 24 minus 36, and they're all the same. It's an arithmetic sequence. If that does not work, then I then try 54 divided by 81, 36 divided by 54, 24 divided by 36, and if they're the same, it's a geometric sequence. In this case, for number 1, 54 minus 81 is negative 27, and 36 minus 54 is negative 18. So we know that it can't be, it's not arithmetic. So then from there, I do 54 divided by 81. When I do that, I end up with 2/3. When I do 36 divided by 54, I also end up with 2/3. So what that tells me is that it's geometric. My R is 2/3. My geometric equation is a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. So it would be 81 is the first term, r is 2/3 raised to the n minus 1. And so that's all I'm doing here on number 6. I'm deciding if it's arithmetic or geometric. Again, arithmetic, you do right minus left, and if they're the same, it's arithmetic. For geometric, you do right divided by left. I'll show you the answers here. So here are the answers to 6A and 6B. Again, this is the form for an arithmetic sequence. This is the form for a geometric sequence there. And then the answers to C and D as well. Again, you have these answers on your answers, the packet of answers that I posted on Edmodo. Okay, for number 7, I'm going to show you the work for binomial expansion. There's also a video tutorial placed on binomial expansion. For your test, because it's a multiple choice test, I would recommend that you took what they give you. So I would take what they give me, and I would plug it into Y1. Again, I don't condone this in class, but because it's a multiple choice test, you're able to do that. I would take what they give me and plug it in Y1, and then I would take the answer choices that I would be given, and I would take them one by one and plug them into Y2. And I would simply hit graph, and what I'm looking for is I'm looking to see if the graph's the same. If I think they're the same, if I go second graph and go to the table, the values should match up. So I'm going to show you the work for 7A and 7B, and then I'm going to use the equation from 7A. Or here, let me pull that up real quick. Okay, so here's the equation for 7A. That's the answer. So notice if that was an answer choice, and I plugged it in my calculator. If I plug that equation into the calculator, then I should be able to do second graph, and I notice that the y values of the table are the same. And since the y values of the table are the same, then that means that these two are identical to each other. This is up 2 through 7. More tutorials to follow.